did you go from, oh my goodness, that number has not moved? What is your idea about what the scale says right now?
I had that change probably earlier this year. I think because I have constantly been teeter-tottering between a certain weight range. And I just kind of hit a breaking point where I wouldn't drive myself crazy, because that number on the scale will deter you, it will discourage you, and it will make you want to quit. And that has definitely happened for me. But then I had to just really have a come to moment with myself and understand and know that, okay, the number on the scale says what it is, but where do I feel with my body composition? And body composition has become my main focal point.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Woman's Podcast. So we are going live on social media as well as recording, but I am so excited today because we have Shantelle, who is not only our medical assistant, our manager, she's behind everything that we do here at Rejuvenate Health and Wellness. So I'm so excited to interview her so she can talk about her wellness journey. So without further ado, Shantelle,
Yes.
it's so good to have you.
Yes, thank you for
joining us
having me.
today.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay. So you are the heartbeat of our clinic, honestly, because
Oh,
I
thank
feel
you.
like you've been with us since we opened. So you've
Uh-huh.
seen the beginnings, how our clinic has evolved, and
Yeah.
how we started to focus more on women's health, right? So
Yes.
I want you to start from the top. How long have you been with us? How closely have you been working with women that's kind of sparked your own journey in wellness?
Well, I have always, since becoming an MA, been in some form of women's health, from working with reproductive health, young women, and then moving up to just working with primary care with females. And just hearing some of their stories and the things that they endure when it comes to their healthcare just kind of really struck my passion even more to always want to work in it, just to be a part of their journey and a part of their story and a part of their healing. It never, I guess, boggled my mind to hear how many women aren't heard with their needs and their healthcare. And then having the opportunity to work with providers where that was their passion, was to hear the patient and be able to heal the patient and not just treat the patient. And so that has also driven me more. And then with coming across Rejuvenate Health and Wellness, I was moving back home for family needs, and I was just looking for work at the time because I was like, you're MA, you can find work. And I was just looking, and I came across your ad, and it was along the lines of work that I was already doing. So weight loss at the time, primary care, functional medicine, and some hormones. So I was like, oh, okay. And I do those kind of things now. So this should be an easy transition.
Yeah.
We went through the process, started, and just meeting you was amazing and definitely has inspired me even more in what we do and just how we've evolved from day one. Like day one, we started out like typical clinic, you're taking insurance, we're seeing all sorts of things. But as your passion kind of transitioned into the care of what's beyond, which is that second stage of a woman's life, perimenopause, menopause, that it's not talked about. It's not, I wasn't even aware of it. I had no education. I worked in women's health and reproductive health, but they never talk about past that point.
Yeah.
It's never a topic of discussion. And so as you got more involved in that and seeing the need for it, our clinic kind of started transitioning into helping patients that were in that area of need. And then the journey of weight loss. Weight loss is not just losing weight. There's a lot of benefits and longevity and that you see when patients start to shed weight. And then finding that those two go hand in hand. A lot of women gain weight as they reach a certain age point and they go through those hormone changes, and then discovering that a lot of those things go together, that it's just not talked about. And so as we've evolved over these last couple of years, it's been amazing to see how many people we've helped, how even myself, my family members, friends, things like that. It's just been amazing to see. And I know that as time goes on, it's just going to get better. And so I think as I go on in my days of career, this will always be the line I would work in when it comes to medicine is strictly women's health, and then even more so the aftermath of women's health, which is that perimenopause, menopause stage. again, like I said, it's never talked about. And just how many people we've helped, like, and transformed them. And I hate I go back to myself term, but it's real.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
On that note that you just said, because I know we worked at one point, it was just you and I that were in the clinic before Jennifer joined us. We've had other people kind of in between there. You shared some struggles that you had.
Yes.
Can you talk about how, when you see these women going through those struggles, how you saw that in yourself and began your healing process?
I definitely saw it. I first came across my own journey about 5 years ago of learning what insulin resistance was. Because again, that wasn't a test it's not a test that gets ran when you're checking for weight issues. A lot of times, the only thing that I was ever checked for was my hemoglobin A1C, and it's always been a little borderline, but nothing out of the ordinary, and just told to take metformin. But when I first discovered what insulin resistance is, or hyperinsulinemia was, it was like, oh, that makes sense of why I can lose 20, gain 20, lose 20, gain 20. And because I could never understand, like I've done programs, I've done probably everything that everybody's done, the Weight Watchers,
all the
things.
Guys.
And then it would work, but then it wouldn't work. And I'd be like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? But then discovering what was happening on the inside contributed to why my goals couldn't be met. It was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then having that education has helped me tremendously. And then seeing like patients struggle, because at the time I was told you need to fast. And I'm like, fast? I was like,
what does that
mean? I can't do that. Like, you mean not have anything to eat? Just water? Like, are you sure? And then I was told my fasting window was, I had 20 hours of fasting, a 4-hour eating window. And that put a person in a panic. It put me in a panic.
Of course, it'll put me in a panic.
And I remember the first thing I did was I bought 4 meals, a meal for each hour. Because he said I had 4 hours to eat. So I was like, cool. And I remember I bought 4 different meals. And of course, I couldn't eat them. After eating one, I was like, okay, I'm full. I don't know why I did that, but that was just the initial panic. But as time went on and I learned how to fast and I learned what worked, it was like, okay, you find your niche. And I know like that is something that we are introducing a lot of our patients to. And it's a fear and a panic, but I try to make sure I encourage them along the way, or let them know like, hey, I'm in my fasting window. How's your fasting going? Or letting them know like it does get easier over time, or like just start small. We have them start small and then increase their time frame. And I'm like, they'll come and be like, well, I don't feel hungry. Well, if you don't feel hungry, try another hour. It'll go a little bit longer.
So you're pretty much walking through this as you are experiencing this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now tell me what those struggles look like. Because I remember specifically one time when we had the conversation about movement and you were like,
yes,
I don't do that kind of thing. Tell me about that.
Yes.
About that.
I had a relapse of having to restart my journey when I moved back to Alaska in 2023. And I had put my weight back on. And so I was like, okay, Dr. Day, I need to get a visit. Let's do this. Let's start this. What we're doing with our patients, I want to do it. And then Dr. Day was like, okay, you've got to change, how you eat this. We're going to do this. And then you've also got to do some movement. And now I'm not a girl that moves. I've had plenty of gym memberships. I've paid a lot of their bills.
We all have.
And I never go. And it was just because it was just not my thing. I wasn't a girl that played outside. I'm not one that was active. And I was just like, nope, I don't think I can do that part. Fast forward to 2024, a friend of mine and a group of girls were working out with a friend trainer, and they had been doing it since the end of 23. And I'd see them and I'd just be like, no. And my friend was like, you should join us. And I was just like, I don't know about that. And she was like, it's just a couple hours a day. This is what we do. And I was just like, no, I don't think so. And so then I was like, let me weigh the pros and cons. And I thought about it.
Somewhere, or these are people that you
These are people that I know. It's my best friend. And then some of our other close friends. And that was something that they do. They like to work out. They enjoyed it. And I loved it. I love watching them on social media. But to me, I was like, that's not something I could see myself doing. And I don't know why, because there really wasn't any rhyme or reason to it. But as I weighed the pros and cons, I was like, well, Shantelle, when you get off work at 5 o'clock, you just go straight home, you get in the bed and you're scrolling until midnight, go to sleep, wake up and go to work. And I was like, 2 hours isn't the end of the world. It doesn't take your entire day. Maybe you could do it. And I was only at a maybe. And then one day she was like, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm outside your house. Let's go.
Wow, what a big motivator.
And yes. And I was like, okay. She's like, you're going to just come and watch, which I thought I was coming to watch. But when I walked in there, the trainer was like, all right, your turn. And I was like, my turn? I was like, I thought I was just here to observe. And from that moment on, I have been faithfully going to the gym 4 days a week now.
Wow. What made you make, because I understand that you had a community there, that you had some people that were inspiring you, but what made you make that shift to, okay, well, I have a couple hours after? Was it something that you saw in the clinic? Like, what made you feel like, okay, this is something that maybe I could do?
I think one, the conversation we had, two, I knew it was the missing element of my journey. And then three, the community that I was going to be with while doing it. They are all ladies that struggle with weight loss. And I was like, okay, I'm not alone. It's not like I'm going to work out with the fittest people. And that's no disrespect. It's just easier to kind of go into an environment like that with people who are on the same path as you. And even seeing our patients, when you discuss that element, it's like, I don't have the time or I can't fit this in, but it's like we make time for what we want.
That's right.
And I had to, that's why when I weighed out the pros and cons, I evaluated my whole evening. I'm like, okay, you have 7 hours, a good 7 hours after work before you go to bed, 2 hours, and you still have 5 hours left over to do whatever you want. I still have time to scroll. I still have time to watch TV. I still have time to just do whatever I want for me in that time. Those 2 hours are not really going to hurt me. And I also was like, okay, something has to give. Just try it. And trying it, do I enjoy going every day? No, but it is now a habit
It's
that
become a consistent thing for
yes,
you. I
it
mean, it's
is.
amazing to see that journey where, okay, it's 5 o'clock. I need to get off. I need to quickly change into my gym clothes,
Yes,
which you do here.
yes,
And on your way, I think it's amazing.
and
doing that.
yes, and then as time went on, patients started to notice.
Mhm.
And that I think is what also kept my motivation, because we look at ourselves every day, and as you lose weight, that thing of body dysmorphia kicks in.
Yeah.
And that definitely, even with working out, changing my diet,
Yeah.
doing certain things, still would have me looking at myself as though changes were never made.
Of course.
And
We all have that, don't we?
and then, but as patients, the patients started noticing, and mind you, I don't see these people every day. You see them maybe once every 3 months. And when they would start making comments to me of, oh, you look good, what are you doing? And it'd be like, oh, it's really paying off. It works. And so it'd be like, I would share my journey. And even to this day, people are touching in and touching base, and we are having that connection. And now I feel more strongly about encouraging small movements for people, or just saying like, okay, it's just this small part of your day. Yes, it's tiring. I go after work and that works for me, and that may not work for you, but what part of your day could it work?
That's
And
right.
it doesn't have to be every day. At least 3 times a day, move your body a little bit. It really helps. And right now I'm on that path of motivating my mom for that, because as we do get older and we go through these changes, movement is necessary for that longevity. And you need some sort of strength training to some capacity, or just cardio, just anything, just to get your heart rate going. And it feels good. I definitely feel good.
That's amazing. So you said you feel good, and it sounds like you are already implementing a lot of the steps of what we teach our clients here. So what have you specifically noticed in your body and your mindset compared to almost 3 years ago?
I'm for sure stronger. Like, I am a girl that I have my fluffy parts, but I'm majority muscled. And I would feel like I was strong, but the strength I feel now it's undeniable, as well as the energy I have. I was a person that constantly needed a nap. I'm a person that constantly felt like I needed to sit down, but I can stand longer. Even just like every time like I travel, I'm like, this is why I work out. I can move through that airport fast. I can carry my luggage that is always at capacity of 50 pounds. and I have more than one bag at that weight. So, and I noticed that I can just do simple things like that without feeling tired. I take the stairs, which wasn't a thing for me. Like, especially with us being on the third floor, that was something I would just be like, just take the stairs, add that to your cardio, do that. And it, like, that's not something I would do 3 years ago. I would just be like, I'm not taking stairs to the third floor. Like, absolutely not. But now I do. And even most places I will take the stairs, and that's just, again, not something that, no.
So basically what you've told me right now is that you've overcome some resistance, right?
Mhm.
Now, can you walk us through some of those resistance? What did resistance look like for you before, including now? Because I tell patients all the time, resistance is like a human being. It
Mhm.
really is all around us. Our body likes to be safe. It wants to keep us safe. It takes the path of least resistance. So even now, there are days that I'll wake up and my body's like, "Oh, you can sleep for another 30 minutes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You can have that extra cookie."
Yes.
What did it look like then, and what does that look like now for you day to day as you navigate your health journey?
I mean, resistance before, I think I just constantly had the word can't and
Mm.
won't in my mindset for that area. It was just I can't do it. I can't and I won't. Just I didn't like the idea of like I'm out of breath, moving, not knowing one how to work out,
Mm.
intimidation, more body conscious of like constantly thinking like, okay, if I go in here and I do this, what are people? How are they looking at me? And are they judging me?
What other
And
people thought.
and I'm judging myself, and so not feeling the confidence to just go in there, and also the mindset of nobody's paying attention to you. Actually, it's not a thing.
Nobody really cares.
No, everybody's in their own workout bubble. So that would always be my resistance. I can't do it, and I just won't do it. And also, I just didn't want to do it, and
Mm.
I made up excuses, and any excuse that could come out. I don't have the time. I definitely have the time, and just it just wasn't for me. And then now the resistance more so is, should I, like, if I have something coming up, is it big enough for me to miss the gym? Is it necessary
I
to
love
miss?
that.
Like, is what I have going on that important? Like, or like Shantelle, like, okay, this is your time block. Like anything else can really wait. And so it's like if I really have to miss my sessions, is like that's more the resistance. Like, do I really want to miss? I actually don't want to miss. Or now, like in the beginning, if all the girls weren't there, I didn't feel comfortable. But now I'm like, I don't care if y'all miss, I'm not missing. Like that has nothing to do with me.
I love it.
So my resistance more so now is the battle with me is like, Shanta, are you like, is it really necessary to miss? Like, especially like when you're going and traveling, it's like how many I need to get all my sessions in
That's the
before I
hard
go.
part sometimes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is such a huge shift. That's the same thing that everybody goes through.
Yeah.
There's going to be days, and if you, I tell people all the time that if you focus on getting it right 100%, you will fail.
Yes.
But if we can get 80%, where there are days that you're going to have bad, because you're going to have bad days. There's going to be days you're not going to get up out of bed. There's going to be days where
Yes.
the nutrition isn't good. But what does the other 80% look like? Which is a huge mindset shift,
Hmm.
so that you don't feel like the day that you miss it, you're starting all over again.
Or that guilt, or that self-conscious guilt that you feel like, oh, you didn't have to miss, oh, you messed up, oh, they think
Yeah.
the worst. Because I would constantly in the beginning apologize to my trainer, like, I'm so sorry. It's just like, well, no, if you need this personal day, and that is the thing, is finding the balance between what you need for you and also what is good for you. And sometimes what you need for you is good for you. So like if you need a day to rest, do it. And then the next day you go right back on track. And it definitely was a mindset shift for me, because normally like in the beginning I would be like, okay, nobody's going, I'm not going, and then
Yeah.
missing a whole week,
Yeah.
when
Absolutely.
that's like,
Did you really need to?
did I really
Yeah.
need to? And what they have going on, does that really affect me? No. And that was another thing all of us have learned, is that my journey is my journey and yours is yours. Are we here together 100%? And that is a great cheer, but I can't interrupt what I have going on based off someone else. And I noticed sometimes that with our patients, and just encouraging them, like, okay, this is where you're at now. Like, just be in this moment, celebrate your small wins. It's okay.
Right.
That part is okay if you're not where you thought you were, but what is something that you did win in? Like, focus on that, and that keeps that motivation to keep going forward.
So I have to ask you this question, because again, one of the things that our patients focus in on is that number on the scale.
Yes.
How did you go from, oh my goodness, that number has not moved? What is your idea about what the scale says right now? Because I'm looking at you now, and I remember back then, it's like, I don't even want to get on that scale. Let's talk about that.
I will have to say I had that change probably earlier this year. I think because I have constantly been teeter-tottering between a certain weight range. And I just kind of hit a breaking point where I wouldn't drive myself crazy, because that number on the scale will deter you, it will discourage you, and it will make you want to quit. And that has definitely happened for me. But then I had to just really have a come to moment with myself and understand and know that, okay, the number on the scale says what it is, but where do I feel with my body composition? And body composition has become my main focal point for my journey.
Can you tell the audience what a body composition is?
So for me, for body composition is how your body transforms, as far as like how your clothes are fitting, how your muscles building, how your fat loss is decreasing, and looking more at that than the number on the scale. Because just a month ago, I had to get rechecked with that body composition, because our new provider, Jen, has me on a new fasting regimen where I do 236-hour fast a week. And then I'm eating on my trainer's meal plan. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm watching my calories, I'm doing this fasting. And so I was doing my weekly weigh-in for my trainer. I got on the scale. I was up a pound. I said, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. I just did all the things. And I restarted my GLP. And I'm like, I'm following everything. I'm doing all the things. There's no way. I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a InBody, which is a body composition machine that gets more than just the weight. It gives us that breakdown of the composition. So I said, let me do that fully. And I did it. And it gave me what the number on the scale couldn't give me. It showed that I had lost 2% body fat. Yay. And I gained 2 pounds of muscle. So that put me at ease, because had I just stepped on a scale and saw that number go up, I, being me, would have said, you know what, forget it. I'm done. I'm not doing this fasting thing no more. I'm not following. I'm going to eat what I want tonight. And I'm over it. It would have just put me in a downward spiral. And by me seeing those numbers, I actually was super like it did the opposite. I was like, okay, this is working. This is the thing.
Absolutely. Because you start to notice in your body, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. How come my clothes are fitting better?
Yes.
you have more energy, you're sleeping better,
Yes.
but it's not reflecting on the scale just yet.
Yes.
Right? Because sometimes there's a lot of shifts happening in our body.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So your muscle, you're gaining muscle, and you look amazing.
Thank you.
I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at your face, and I'm just like, you look great. Your confidence in the way you spoke. I mean, no, because I've seen it. I've seen the gradual transformation from 2023 when you started till now.
Yes.
It shines through in everything.
Yes.
So what are some take homes that you would give to someone who's navigating? Maybe they're starting, or maybe they started and they stopped because they've given up. What are some things that you would advise them on?
The number one thing I tell our patients and myself is you've got to give yourself grace. You really do. Second thing, like I said, is celebrate your small wins. Are we at the finish line? No. But did we make some progress along the way? Yes. And you have to really, really let those be your leading point, because if not, you'll just strictly be fixated on the end result, and you'll miss the whole point of how to sustain it once you get to that point. And I would just also say it's okay to start over. It's okay to start whenever you want to start, when you're ready to start. And again, if you have to start over, at least you're starting, and that's okay. I've started over 1,000 times and I don't regret any of the restarts, because with each restart, I gain more knowledge of how to sustain overall, as well as, like I said, it allows my grace to be even better for myself, because then I don't feel as guilty if I miss a workout. I don't feel as guilty if I have something that is not on my meal plan, because again, that's just one part of being human. Then understanding, depending on where you're at in life of your age, what comes with that. Because being a woman in her 40s is not commonly talked about. Nobody prepares you for this, of the changes. Like right now, my body's healing, but I'm going through adult adolescence with acne. Now, had this happened to me 15 years ago, I'd probably be panicked and feel like I don't want to show my face. But because I understand that my body's healing and whatever this is projecting out, is for the better good of me overall. I just am letting it roll with the punches. I'm like, okay, that's just part of the journey. And
Yeah.
it's not permanent. It's completely temporary as you go through your body healing. Because you got to understand, this is 40 some years of bad behavior. Not necessarily, and I don't necessarily want to say bad behavior, but of habits that, you know, you have to change. And it
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight.
It's
That's another thing. It doesn't happen overnight. And there's no quick fix scheme to losing weight, because when there is, it comes back. And I've definitely learned that. I've definitely learned that.
What is one thing throughout this journey? And of course, I say it's a journey, but it's not, you know, a race. What is one thing you've learned about yourself throughout this the last couple of years or so?
That I'm capable and I can. And change isn't bad. And having changes is necessary, especially for your life, because sometimes we get stagnant or we get comfortable because we're like, well, I've been like this my whole life. Why change it? Or what's the point of changing it now that I'm this age? Because sometimes that happens and people are like, well, I'm this age, I've gone through this. What's the point of changing? But it feels good because I feel renewed. I definitely feel like I'm definitely a better version of myself.
You're the elevated woman that you talked about.
Yes, I'm definitely a better version of myself.
That you're talking about.
And that confidence that you mentioned, it's there, and it's not something I've had it, but I don't feel like it exuded the way it does now. And I'm very, very comfortable, even though I haven't reached my goal, which is another thing. I don't actually have a goal. And I think also that's probably a big thing, is not necessarily having a goal, just more of what do you want to feel like? How do you want to be seen? And I'm okay not being at a number that I would like to see on the scale, because I feel good. And I feel a lot stronger mentally, physically. It's definitely helped in those areas. So it's just like, yeah, just be proud of where you are in your journey. Know that it does take time.
I love it.
It takes complete time.
Shantelle, thank you so much for sharing your journey and just being willing to be open. And I love that you, every single patient, before I get in there, Chantelle's already giving them the breakdown. Okay, this is what we're gonna. She's already coaching them. I love it. All right. Yes. If this episode resonated with you and you want to take the step, just like our clients and Shantelle has, definitely go to our website, www.Rejuvenate Health and Wellness. Go ahead and you can book a consultation. We start with the body composition. We start with getting to know you and giving you a roadmap. Check out the show notes if you're listening to the podcast. There's some resources for you to start, or if you want to just come straight into the clinic, that's fine too. Thank you guys that are watching live.
Thank you. Come see us.
See you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Elevated Women's podcast. If today's episode resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs this conversation too. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start thriving, head over to our website. It's listed in the show notes to learn more about our Elevated Women's coaching program. That's where we take these conversations deeper and create a more personalized plan for your hormones, your weight, energy, and more. Check out our show notes. I've linked free tools and cheat sheets to help you get started right away. For more daily tips and inspiration, come hang out with me on Instagram at The Elevated Woman Coach. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Thriving Over 40 with Dr. Akindipe. Until next time, stay elevated.